So we did get some surprise patch notes today. Nothing crazy. You didn't need to download anything. I'm going to go ahead and kind of read through these and go ahead and talk about the new weapons being added to Cold War and a little bit about what we're kind of finding out about some of the leak stuff when it comes to the integration. So we'll kind of go through all that. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button. If you want to find your way back, just make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Make that part as easy as possible. So as I go through here, basically, the short end of this is they know that diamond camo is not progressing properly. Even though you can unlock gold, it doesn't actually track for you to unlock diamond. Some Xbox players have an issue with trial has ended, basically as if they're still playing the beta. They're looking into that. They also added Miami to the combined arms rotation, so that's going to be part of the 12v12. Play significantly better, even though I'm still not a fan of the map. That gives you 4 options there. They also added the Pack-a-Punch ray gun to have different color variations, the same that way that we've seen with a lot of the other weapons. If you played zombies, when you pack-a-punch, it gets one kind of color. You pack-a-punch again, it gets another one. You do it a third time, and you get another color. So that'll give you a little bit of variation in the ray gun, because currently it just looked identical. The name at the bottom changed slightly when you pack-a-punched it once. Every time after that, it looked the same. You just got that little pack-a-punch icon right next to it. So this gives you a little bit of better idea so that you can actually feel like they're different as you go up those levels or rounds, rather. They brought back map boating. Personally, I thought this was as a result of the video I kind of did where, not necessarily because of me, but they had some reverse boosting going on where people were session joining low KD accounts to get into, you know, easier lobbies to post gameplay. Kind of did a whole video on that. If you missed it, go ahead and feel free to check that out if you have questions about that. But pretty much by having map boating, it allows you to stay in the lobby longer and provide for more opportunity to actually session join that lower KD player. And I thought they removed it because of that. Luckily, it looks like that had nothing to do with it, and it was just kind of a fluke that they've gone and fixed. The other stability stuff, zombies, more stability stuff, and it also looks like they addressed an issue that led to what was called God mode that people were putting out there online. And this was basically a way to get around the zombies actually detecting your presence. You do some kind of glitch, you'd glitch into the map, and then the zombies would basically not know where to go, and then they would just huddle up and you can kill them pretty easily. And then we also have Onslaught, which is Sony exclusive, PlayStation exclusive. They added Nuketown back into Onslaught. So if you need to do some low-level elites, you could just jump in there, do that, couple rounds, you will definitely get those out the way. Couple UI errors, and that's pretty much it for this basic stuff when it comes to Cold War. Let's go ahead and talk about the weapons that were kind of leaked. They ended up unintentionally leaking these, and I can actually show these ones because they're actually leaked in game. You can look at them yourself and you can kind of see what's going on. So we'll go ahead and check that out. So right here, when I go to calling card, you can go ahead and go to weapon mastery, and if I scroll down, you can see I have a bunch of those done. But when I scroll down a little bit further, you can see that there's Groza Master for multiplayer, and then there's also for zombies. That weapon's not currently in the game. You can't buy it off the wall, you can't get it in mystery box, and it's definitely not a part of the loadout. So it is in the game. I wonder if this is going to be a part of the free battle pass. Obviously, there's a free portion and a paid portion, which still, you know, make up the 100 tiers that we generally get, or at least we got in Modern Warfare and Warzone. So I would imagine that this weapon, or the next weapon I'll talk about, is going to be at tier 15 and 31, the same way they did it for the entire year for Modern Warfare as a seasonal progression. And then we'll get some kind of third weapon thrown in where you need to do some basic challenge like they did for the Bruin, and a few other weapons, a crossbow where you needed, you know, headshots or whatever the heck. I don't remember what the challenge was, but that kind of allows it. Or the right tech, you needed quick scopes or something like that. That they're probably going to have that for a third weapon. So if this game already has a base 29 weapons, they're going to add these 2 weapons when the season starts, and then halfway through the season, we're going to get another weapon. So it'll be 3 additional Cold War weapons on top of the 29, bringing it up to 32. So 32 weapons are going to be added into Warzone. And we'll go ahead and talk about this other one, which is an SMG, and then the other leaked weapons that are coming to Warzone that will likely make their way into Modern Warfare because they share those same weapons. So if I go over here, there's also a MAC-10 Master for zombies as well as for multiplayer. So it's another SMG and another rifle being added into the game. No clue on how they're going to be balanced and how that's going to work with the integration. They're still kind of tiptoeing around what is actually going to happen because they're not really talking about it right now. They're just talking about still there's an integration, and most of the stuff that's kind of come out is about leaks. So it's pretty interesting, all the leaks that have come out. Obviously, when it comes to Warzone, we're going to have a brand new Rebirth Island, and I think a lot of people are thinking that it's going to happen when Season 1 drops, and based off some of the leaks, That seems like the case, but more than likely, it looks like that's probably going to be held off until March. Personally, I think that's the business move. You do the integration, you make some POI changes. We have some event within Warzone, kind of the same way we had Stadium. We open that up, we do some other things. Maybe we bomb some POIs, destroy a little bit of downtown, build up some other parts of the map, allow you to go a little bit out of bounds. Maybe some of those areas are a little bit more developed, and then give you a little bit different POIs, loot, floor loot. We're going to have all those types of changes. And then allows for a little bit smoother integration, so they don't really have to focus on this map, and they get a little bit more time to put that together. Because obviously we know they're dealing with some stress of building a game understaffed because people are working from home because of the whole health crisis that's going on right now. So I would imagine that gets held all the way until March, even though the leak stuff is going to be out. We're going to be seeing stuff about Rebirth Island, and it basically looks like Alcatraz from Blackout. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically a small VR map. It held up to about 40 players. Maybe it was 50. I don't 100% remember the number. Maybe 48. And then basically you started with floor loot. You picked up attachments. It was very, you know, kind of like a traditional BR in that sense, because you kind of just got what you could, and that was it. There wasn't like you go to a buy station and you get your loadout, you get perks. It wasn't like that. You did get a couple lives, so you could respawn back into the game. But personally, I wonder how that's going to blend with the Warzone mechanics, because obviously we have buy stations. If you want to load out, there's going to be a free loadout. I would imagine it's going to work very similar to the Mini Royale. Maybe they're going to increase the player count to 75 or whatever that number is for the Mini Royale. And then it'll already start with the collapsing zone. So it's going to be a little bit faster paced, more engagements. Maybe they'll add more respawns, so you could have an opportunity to get those back, because maybe there's not going to be buy stations at all. And we'll go back to floor loot where there's just going to be blueprints all over the floor. But particularly, that's probably my least favorite part about Battle Royales. So I hope they don't necessarily go that route, because obviously with Battle Royales, the worst part is you coming in, landing on a terrible gun. The guy landing in the room next to you, he comes out with the absolute stacked God gun. And in that 1v1, if you're better than them, you still got a chance. But sometimes there's very little chance if you have a very terrible weapon. It just doesn't weigh it out in the favor. That's why loadouts are so powerful within Warzone. So I wonder if they're going to keep that true BR feel, or if they're going to make the map a little bit larger, adjust the scale, reuse some of those assets, obviously updated with the Russian Cold War type of theme, and then allow that so that you can actually have more players on the map, so that the pacing is a little bit more in line with Warzone, so you can use that map. And then, you know, or maybe they drop it right when season 1 drops. It just seems like way too much content with all the maps, modes, and all the weapons and the integration. It seems like way too much to cover. And then maybe they drop a full scale overhaul, brand new map in March for regular Warzone map. So we still got to wait out and see. I think the integration's probably going to go a lot smoother than people think. But we won't know for sure until they kind of tell us what they're actually doing with the weapons. Obviously, I'd like to see a lot of changes. New season, we're going to get new floor loot. Hopefully they do that where it's like every 2 weeks they're swapping that out, which I think that could be an easy change that makes the game feel fresh. I think the Gulag, it needs more various maps. Obviously it's cool, it's part of the map because it's part of the prison, but there still needs to be other areas that are available for the Gulag. So maybe they'll add more 2v2 maps that could be used as part of the Gulag. You kind of get teleported out, and you have more areas that they can convert into the Gulag. That would be help to keep it fresh. Obviously they swap out the weapons on occasion, like once a week, but it would be nice to have a little bit more variety in the map, because to my knowledge, I think there's only 3 Gulag maps, and they all basically feel the same. Other part is they just need to remove the jugs from non-limited time modes. Obviously if you're playing a limited time mode, Juggernaut Royale, or you got the Vehicle Royales, or whatever the heck modes there are, keep the jug in those. Cool. That's kind of like, hey, you expect to get joked a little bit, but when it comes to, you know, the regular jugs, they're still in the game. They're automatic if you know how to do the regular downtown Easter egg to subway Easter egg. And you also get specialists, you get a couple advanced UAVs, which is cool, but Juggernaut being guaranteed is absolutely ridiculous. On top of that, the duplicate of Juggernauts is still in the game, so you could just keep making an infinite number, throw them late game, throw them all in the zone, so if you die, you could be bought back. You win your Gulag, you just land on a Juggernaut suit, which I think is incredibly broken. There's other subtle things, like the R9 is still broken. The VLK Rogue will probably come out as being broken. If that doesn't, you know, if the R9 gets nerfed, people just jump on that because that's also broken, a little bit less inconsistent, or else people would be using it. but they really need a shake up. And I think all these new weapons is going to be a breath of fresh air, and almost guaranteed there's two things going to happen here. One is they're going to have a bunch of Cold War blueprints that they're going to want you to buy because you didn't get Cold War to level up your guns, and you're going to be at a huge disadvantage because those are almost guaranteed to be meta, because that's just business, right? You're going to add all these new guns. The meta will 100% change because they want you to buy new cosmetics. So it's just something to be on the lookout for. If you didn't upgrade Cold War weapons, Plunder strat is still going to be available. Pop some double weapon XP, jump in a helicopter, go from buy station to buy station, unless they patch that out, which I don't see them doing since it's been in the game, since contracts have been in the game, which is basically since the beginning. So I'm incredibly excited for this integration. Hopefully it goes smooth, and there's a bunch of other quality life changes that will just overall improve the game, bring more players in, because at the end of the day, free-to-play Battle Royale is always going to be more popular than a paid multiplayer. Good thing I enjoy both, because at the end of the day, if I didn't, it'd be a little frustrating. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, learn something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.